Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Sweet Tips here, and what we're going to do is make some electrolyte for the silver cells. I've got 3 of them, and the 2 small ones take 600 grams each, and the beast, the extra large silver cell, it takes 1,000 grams, so that's 2,200 grams. I'm going to try to get some silver in here now. 2,200 grams worth of silver for all 3 electrolytic silver cells. Okay, that's 2,360. That should do it. It's close enough. Now we'll set this beaker up on the heat. That's silver crystal from a previous silver cell run. I'm going to start out by adding 1 liter of distilled water. Pour that right on in. Adding 1 liter of nitric acid. The silver, pure silver crystal takes about 1 milliliter per gram of nitric acid to dissolve it. Here we go. We're going to start adding some nitric acid into the pure silver crystal, a little bit at a time. And I'm not going to add any heat. There should be enough heat just from the reaction, so I'm not going to add any external heat here. That's about 300 milliliters added into the beaker. I've got 1 liter of nitric acid in there, in the silver. Now we're going to crank some heat and go ahead and boil this to get all that silver to dissolve. Let's kill the heat and let this cool down. See what we got. I've allowed this to cool completely. Now we're going to add some distilled water to our beaker. Some nitric acid. I'm going to add the mixture now into our beaker, carefully, slowly. I had to stop the time lapse to get this. I've got some crystals coming out of solution while I'm making this electrolyte. I just added another 500 milliliters of nitric acid. So we've got this beautiful crystal formation in here. Not sure what that is. Probably silver nitrate crystals coming out of solution. That beaker is getting kind of full. I'm gonna add some more water. That's half a liter of water. So now I've got 2 liters of nitric acid in here. Plus, after I get this in, 2 liters of distilled water. Now you'll notice the color of the solution is a little off, and that's because the silver that I started with had some blue silver cell electrolyte still on it. I did not rinse it completely because I knew I was going to use it for the electrolyte in a future video. So that's why we got a little bit of color to the solution here. I'll put this back on time lapse and just let it react. If you look down to the bottom of the beaker down there, you can see we've still got a few crumbs of silver in there, but not much. And I think we still got a bunch of nitric acid in here. So what I'm gonna do is I've got some more silver, and we're gonna add a little bit more silver down into this reaction. A few pieces at a time. Make sure we don't bubble up and go overboard and have a boil over. Yeah, I can see them reacting down there when I add these in. What I want to end up with here is all the fume production is gone, and I've got a little bit of undissolved silver left down at the bottom of this beaker that I'm reacting this stuff in with the nitric here. That's going to take quite a bit more, I think. Tell by the way this is reacting, we've got a whole bunch of excess nitric in here. I'm just going to add the rest of these pieces of silver right on in. the fumes have cleared up in there. It's got a little bit of a color to it, a little bit of a green tint from that copper that was still left on the pure silver crystal. I'm going to turn this off. We'll let this completely cool off. I've allowed that solution to cool completely. I've got my extra large funnel set up here. And what we'll do is I'm going to grab this and we're going to start filtering this solution through our large funnel. Here we go. That stuff's pulling through awful fast. Well, I'm glad I stopped adding that liquid into the funnel when I did. We almost ran out of room in our flask. Now let's get the funnel out of the way. Just going to lift it up and stick it up here. I've got about 2,500 grams of silver dissolved in 4,000 milliliters of liquid. So 2,500 divided by 4,000. That means about 625 grams of pure silver dissolved in each liter of liquid. I'll be operating 3 electrolytic silver cells. So what we're going to do now is bring our solution up, and I'm going to measure out 1,000 milliliters in 2 beakers. I use 1,000 grams in my large electrolytic silver cell. So to figure out how much of this liquid we're going to need, I'm going to choose 1,600 times 0.625. That's 1,000. So I need 1,600 milliliters of a silver cell electrolyte that contains 0.625 grams per liter. So here we go. This is for the beast. I've got the electrolyte measured out. These both back here are for 2 6.5 liter cells that I have. This is for the 6 liter cell. And what I'll do is put this back on the heat and dissolve a little bit more of this silver in this beaker so that we have electrolyte available to replenish and rehydrate the silver cells as they run. We're going to take our electrolyte now and charge each one of the silver cells. I'm going to fill it up to about within 1/2 an inch of the rim of the bowl with some distilled water. Give it a stir. Now reinstall the cover. Now we'll move our cart down and go to the next patient. Silver cell number 2. Let's add some distilled water. And give it a stir. And now for the beast. I got 1,600 milliliters of electrolyte for this one. Now I'm adding some distilled water. Let's give this a stir. Let's get our anode filter basket and charge it up with some impure silver shot. do is stick this right in the top so that it's suspended. The bottom of this basket and the filter and the silver is in contact with the electrolyte in this silver cell. Do the same thing for silver cell number 2. Now for the beast, he has a rather large filter basket. All right, let's install the filter basket in the cell. Let's install the anode electrode bar on top of our anode basket. And now what we'll do is we'll energize the power supply. And I'm going to adjust the volts to 3.5 volts. That'll work. So silver cell number 1 has been placed in operation. Do the same thing with number 2. If you look down into the cell, there's nothing growing in there yet. No silver crystal forming on the inside of the stainless steel cathode yet. So now what we're going to do is turn the power on. I've got the current full up and the volts all the way down. So now we're going to pull up the voltage to 3.5 volts. That should do it. Install the anode bar on this one. Now we should see some crystal growth down in there. As soon as the electricity starts flowing, we should see some tiny silver crystals starting to form. All right, let's go over here to the beast. Put the anode bar in the silver. Now let's fire up the power supply. Current flow is all the way up. Voltage is all the way down. I've got a larger one here because this thing has a tendency to go over the maximum of the other 2 power supplies. So I'm going to adjust this to 3.5. There we go. 3.5 volts. Now we have the beast in operation. If you notice here, cell number 1 is drawing 2.9 amps at 3.5 volts. Cell number 2 is only drawing 1.6 amps at 3.5 volts. And then the beast is pulling 2.1 amps at 3.5 volts. These have been in operation now for about 2 hours. If you look down in here, you can see we've got some pure silver crystal already starting to form on the stainless steel cathode bowl. On number 2, got the same thing going on. And then over here on the beast, got some nice silver crystal forming in there as well. Let me briefly go over what's going on with this cell operation. This is impure silver shot that we melted and poured into water. It was cement silver from my gold refining. We poured this into water, formed these granules, and then I charge the anode filter basket with the granules. The silver cell itself is full of silver nitrate electrolyte down in here. The bottom of the basket is suspended in the electrolyte, and so we're passing an electric current through this thing. The anode electrode bar is connected to the positive side, the positive terminal on the power supply. The green wire, the negative wire, goes down here and connects to a connection down in the bottom to the bowl, which is the cathode. The cathode is the stainless steel bowl, and as the current flow goes through the cell, it dissolves the impure silver up here. Any impurities will remain insoluble and get trapped in this filter. And so only the silver ions travel down through the filter basket, through holes that I have cut in that basket. The silver ions travel through the silver nitrate electrolyte, and they played out on the inside of this bowl as high purity elemental silver, 3/9 fine or better. Here's the numbers on cell number 1, cell number 2. Why is cell number 2 1 full amp lower than cell number 1? I don't know. Good question. And then the beast is at 2.1 amps. So we'll just continue to run these now for the next few days. I'll be putting this impure silver. It's about 8.5 kilos of impure silver. And we'll come in here and we'll feed that down into the anode basket of each of the silver cells. And I've made a couple of extra anode bars here. And what I'll do is offer these for sale on my eBay site. And so this will conclude the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching.